chosen one. Stop for a moment and listen, because what happened today did not go unnoticed. Heaven saw it. The very act you thought was too small to matter sent a vibration through eternity. You may not have heard trumpets, you may not have felt the air shift, but the moment you chose light over darkness, patience over anger, kindness over bitterness, heaven recorded it. The courts of eternity stood still, and your name was spoken with joy. You might think it was nothing, just a small thing, but no. Chosen one, it was everything. For heaven does not measure worth by applause or recognition, but by obedience. When no one saw you forgive that offense, when you decided not to retaliate, when you whispered that prayer instead of giving in to despair, the unseen realm exploded in divine delight. Listen carefully. God has been watching, not in judgment, but in affection. His eyes are upon the earth, searching for hearts that remain faithful even in the quiet moments. And today, He found that heart in you. You may not have felt spiritual, you may not have felt powerful, but heaven saw faith where others would have seen fatigue. Heaven saw love where others would have seen silence. As Jesus Himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 4, "Then your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you." There is something sacred about your small choices. They carry eternal weight. The way you treated someone with gentleness even when your heart was breaking. The way you prayed quietly for others instead of seeking pity for yourself. All of it reached heaven's ears today. You are not living unseen, you are being observed by eternity. The Father is not a distant ruler looking down indifferently. He is a loving King who leans in close to see the details of your heart. When you lifted your eyes heavenward this morning, unsure if He was still listening, He whispered to the angels, "Watch closely, this one still believes." And that belief, that belief shook the spiritual realm. Because every time a chosen one refuses to surrender to darkness, light gains ground on earth. Your faith, though quiet, sends tremors through hell. The enemy cannot understand why you still pray, still love, still forgive. But heaven understands. Heaven delights. This message isn't coincidence. This is divine timing. God wanted you to know that what you did today mattered. Maybe you simply kept your word when it was hard. Maybe you helped someone who couldn't return the favor. Maybe you forgave yourself for something you've carried too long. Whatever it was, heaven noticed. And do you know what heaven did? It smiled. The creator of galaxies, the one who calls stars by name, paused His infinite orchestration to acknowledge the sound of your obedience. It rose like a melody, unique, pure, sacred. You may not have realized you were singing, but your spirit did. Every act of goodness is a song that only heaven can hear. So, lift your head. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are right where God needs you to be. Every step, even the slow ones, are divine steps. And though you might feel weary, your faithfulness today became a bridge for someone else's breakthrough tomorrow. That's how heaven works. It multiplies hidden obedience into visible miracles. Do not doubt the power of small beginnings, for heaven never wastes a single act of faith. You are building something eternal with every quiet yes. And right now, the Father is whispering, "I am delighted in you." You may not see the full picture yet, but one day you will stand before Him, and He will show you how today the simple, ordinary, quiet today was holy ground. Chosen one. If these words find you at this exact moment, it's not random. Heaven has orchestrated this encounter. The Spirit of God wanted to interrupt your day to remind you, you are seen, you are known, you are celebrated. Your obedience did not vanish into the void. It traveled straight into the heart of heaven. Let that truth settle deep in your spirit because your story is being written in light. Now, take a breath. Let gratitude rise. The Father smiles as you read these words, because He knows that His chosen one is still standing, still believing, still radiant with divine purpose. If this message resonates within your spirit, if you can feel heaven's delight even now, then pause and respond. Show that you receive this word not by chance, but by faith. Like this message, share it with another soul who needs to be reminded that God still sees them. And make sure you subscribe so you never miss another divine whisper. Then, as an act of alignment, type 777 in the comments below your prophetic number of heavenly completion. For today, heaven took notice of you, and the Father Himself is truly delighted. You do not see them, but they see you. The watchers of heaven, the hosts of light, have kept their gaze upon you from sunrise to sunset. Every moment you live today, every decision, every word was observed not through judgment but through love. There are no missed details in heaven's record. The unseen cameras of glory capture not just what you do, but why you do it. The motives of your heart, the intentions behind your actions, all of it shines like light in God's sight. You might think, surely no one noticed when I did that good thing. No one cared, but heaven cared. The Spirit recorded the kindness you gave freely, the patience you offered when frustration knocked at your door. Every moment of integrity, every humble gesture has been marked down in the eternal scrolls. Nothing done in love is ever wasted. There are scribes and the unseen beings appointed to write down the faithfulness of those who walk with God. Your name is among their records. When you spoke gently to someone who was unkind, they wrote it down. When you prayed for someone who never thanked you, they wrote it down. When you endured quietly instead of complaining, they wrote it down. And in heaven's books, such moments weigh more than crowns of gold. Heaven does not measure greatness by applause, but by obedience. The Lord is not impressed by outward display, but by inward surrender. Every time you chose to forgive, every time you offered compassion, the light around you grew stronger. Angels saw the glow. Demons recoiled, and the Father smiled. You are part of a sacred rhythm that most people never notice. The universe turns not because of kings or empires, but because of hidden hearts like yours. Hearts that stay faithful when no one else is watching. The quiet believer, the one who keeps sowing goodness even when the world seems ungrateful, sustains creation more than any throne of man ever could. Sometimes, you may feel invisible. You wonder if your effort matters at all. You see others celebrated for what seems small while your great labor goes unseen. But heaven has already accounted for it. The one who numbers every hair on your head knows the weight of every sacrifice you've made. Not a sigh escapes your lips without being noticed. Not a tear falls without being recorded. When you give love in secret, you join a holy lineage, those who walked unseen yet were known by God. The prophets, the psalmists, the intercessors, all lived their days under the eyes of the unseen realm. You walk in their footsteps, and heaven still records the same kind of beauty today, as was written in the letter to the Hebrews, chapter 6, verse 10. God is not unjust. He will not forget your work and the love you have shown Him. These words are not poetry, they are a decree. God Himself has bound His justice to your unseen goodness. He will not allow the kindness you've sown to return void. There will come a day when everything hidden will be revealed not to shame, but to reward. The moments you thought were small are actually building your eternal testimony. When heaven watches you, It does not see imperfection first, it sees potential. It sees the fingerprints of divinity shaping your character, refining your motives, teaching your heart how to mirror His. You are becoming a reflection of God's own patience and compassion, and the process itself is sacred. The unseen cameras of glory capture not just your victories, but also your resilience, the times you stood up after falling, the moments you repented with tears, the nights you prayed through confusion and chose trust over doubt. Those are the scenes heaven loves most. Not perfection, but perseverance. And though you may not receive recognition here on earth, your reward is already secured in the heavenly places. God is not a man that He should forget. He remembers what others have overlooked. The smallest seed of faith, the quietest prayer, the most hidden act of love, He treasures them all. So continue walking in goodness even when no one notices. Continue choosing righteousness when the crowd walks the other way. You are being watched by love, not by law, and the one who sees in secret is preparing something extraordinary in return. You are writing a legacy that will outlast time itself. When history fades and names are forgotten, the record of your faith will remain before God's throne. The scrolls of eternity will testify here was one who loved in silence, who served without boasting, who walked faithfully in the shadows. And in that moment, when heaven's books are opened and every story is told, you will hear your name spoken with tenderness. The Father will look at you and say, "I remember." That remembrance will be your crown. Chosen one. If only you could hear what heaven heard when you made that small choice of goodness. The sound of your obedience became music in the realm of angels. When your lips whispered forgiveness instead of revenge, the air itself changed. Heaven rejoiced not because you won something the world could see, but because your spirit chose love when pain wanted to speak louder. Do you realize what happens when a child of light says yes to righteousness? It sends a signal into eternity. Angels gather at that sound. They recognize the resonance of divine alignment. It's the same frequency that echoed when Jesus said, "Not my will, but yours be done." That vibration of surrender still ripples through creation. And today, you added your own harmony to it. There is a spiritual celebration that unfolds beyond sight. When you resist temptation, when you speak peace instead of chaos, when you comfort someone who doesn't deserve it, those moments become signals of victory. Angels are not passive observers. They respond to obedience with joy. They move where faith is present. When you acted in faith today, a movement began in heaven's ranks. Imagine the unseen world like an orchestra. Each believer's obedience adds another instrument to the symphony. Some play loudly, through public acts of faith. Others play softly, in private acts of devotion. But all of them together create heaven's song of redemption. Your note was played today, and heaven danced to it, as was recorded in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 15, verse 10. There is rejoicing in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner who repents. This is not only about repentance from sin, it's about every moment you turn your heart back toward God. Every yes to His will is repentance from your own way. Every surrender, every gentle answer, every step toward grace ignites joy among the hosts of heaven. The angels do not celebrate wealth or fame. They celebrate obedience. The simple act of choosing God again and again despite disappointment, despite pain, is what causes all of heaven to erupt in praise. The celestial beings who surround the throne cry, "Holy, holy, holy," not just because of who God is, but because of what His children become. And today, you gave them a reason to sing. You may not see their faces, but they see yours. You may not hear their song, but they hear your prayers. Your voice, trembling and human, still carries authority because it's tuned to faith. Every time you speak life instead of fear, you release light into the atmosphere. Angels are drawn to that light. Your obedience is not invisible currency. It's eternal sound. It vibrates in the heavens and moves through generations. The simple act of saying, "Lord, I trust you even through tears," shifts the course of history in ways you cannot comprehend. Perhaps today, you stood before temptation and whispered, "No." Maybe you forgave someone again. Maybe you encouraged someone even though your own heart was heavy. Heaven recorded it all. You think it was small, but angels saw the strength it took. They celebrated, they shouted, and in that unseen celebration, the kingdom of darkness trembled. Hell hates your faithfulness because it exposes the lie that obedience is weakness. But heaven knows better. Heaven knows that quiet surrender is thunder in disguise. Every yes to God is a strike of lightning that illuminates the dark. And so, chosen one, while the world moves fast, heaven moves deep. Your life is not unnoticed. The celebration over you has already begun. The moment you chose love, you joined heaven's festival. Take a breath and let that truth sink in. There are angels rejoicing over your heart right now. They have seen your journey, your struggles, your sacrifices. They know the weight you've carried and the courage it took to keep believing. To them, you are not ordinary. You are evidence that light still wins. And now, let this be your declaration moment. If your heart recognizes the sound of heaven's joy, type "I rise higher" below. Let those words mark your agreement with what heaven already celebrates. "I rise higher" is not just a comment, it's a prophetic action. It's your way of saying, "I choose to rise above offense, above weariness, above fear. I choose the higher way, the way of faith, humility, and love." When you type it, you're declaring alignment with the angelic rejoicing happening right now. You're saying, "I join heaven's song." Remember this truth, chosen one. Heaven never overlooks a surrendered heart. You are not background noise, you are the melody of redemption. Every step you take toward righteousness makes heaven sing louder. So rise higher. Keep choosing good over evil, peace over chaos, forgiveness over bitterness. You may not see the celebration, but all of heaven does, and your name is being sung in their joy tonight. There are moments in your life, chosen one, when heaven decides to remain silent, not out of neglect, but out of trust. Today may have been one of those moments. You faced quiet tests, subtle crossroads, decisions so small they might have seemed meaningless. Yet in the unseen realm, these were examinations of the heart. You were being tested, though it did not look like a test. No great storm arrived, no visible trial unfolded. Yet heaven leaned close to see your response. Would you stay patient when plans changed? Would you speak gently when your heart felt weary? Would you trust when you could not see? These are the silent tests of the faithful, the kind that shape eternity's warriors. You may not realize it, but heaven measures greatness not in how you react when seen, but how you respond when hidden, when no one applauds, when no one comforts, when no one affirms. What will you choose? The test is not to crush you, but to reveal you. Like gold placed in fire, your true nature shines brightest under pressure. And today, chosen one, the flames that surrounded you did not burn you, they refined you. You did not fail. You passed. You see, there are battles that take place not in the open, but within the soul. When you wanted to give up but didn't, that was victory. When you wanted to speak sharply but held your tongue, that was strength. When you prayed again though the answer hadn't come, that was faith. You were being tested in the silence, and heaven bore witness. It is written in the letter of James on chapter 1, verse 12. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life. These words were not meant only for the ancient believers, they are alive for you today. Perseverance is not glamorous. It is quiet. It's the long walk through unseen valleys, the constant choosing of goodness when you feel unseen yourself. Yet this is the path that crowns are forged upon. Heaven's heroes are not always loud. They are the ones who keep believing after being broken, who keep loving after being betrayed, who keep walking when the road stretches endlessly. Their crowns are made not of metal, but of moments, the moments they chose trust instead of bitterness, faith instead of fear, surrender instead of pride. Today, when your patience was stretched thin, heaven was watching. When your emotions wanted to rise and take control, heaven observed the wrestling within you. God does not test to see you fall. He tests to show you how strong His Spirit within you has become. You have grown more than you realize. Think about it. A test is not proof of failure, but of readiness. A teacher tests a student not to shame them, but to reveal what they've learned. Likewise, God allowed today's trial not to expose weakness, but to demonstrate your maturity. You have been in training for such days. Every season of silence, every night of unanswered prayer, has built something inside you, an unshakable resolve. The world often applauds instant success, but heaven applauds endurance. Endurance is proof of divine partnership. It means that even when you couldn't feel God near, you kept walking toward Him. That alone shakes the kingdom of darkness. Perhaps today, something small tested your peace. Maybe it was a delay, a harsh word, an unexpected disappointment. In those moments, heaven saw you pause, breathe, and choose grace. That pause was powerful. It was your spirit saying, I still belong to God. Never underestimate those quiet responses. They echo through eternity. God's eyes are not searching for perfection, but for hearts that remain loyal even when confused. And that chosen one is exactly what you have been. Your patience today may have gone unnoticed by people, but heaven documented every second. Your restraint was worship. Your gentleness was strength. Your silence, when provoked, was louder than any sermon. You may not realize how much you resembled Christ today, but heaven did. Understand this: trials are not detours. They are confirmations that you are on the right path. The enemy does not attack the indifferent, he attacks the anointed. And the intensity of your silent test reveals the magnitude of your calling. You have been entrusted with much, and God is ensuring that your foundation can carry the weight of your future glory. When the test feels endless, remember this: heaven never wastes pain. Every delay is divine construction. Every closed door is redirection. Every silence is sanctification. So tonight, when you look back on your day, do not see only fatigue or frustration. See the hidden classroom of heaven where your spirit was being strengthened. See the approval in your Father's eyes. You didn't crumble, you endured. And in that endurance, heaven found beauty. The test is not over you, it is behind you. The next time life feels like a quiet exam, smile, because now you know what it means. Heaven is not measuring performance. Heaven is revealing faithfulness. And you, beloved chosen one, are passing every unseen test with grace. Chosen one, there is something beautiful about the way heaven responds to a single act of obedience. It does not echo with noise or thunder, it rises like fragrance. The realm of the Spirit knows the scent of surrender. Today, what you did, what you offered, What you gave, even if it was only a word of kindness or a quiet prayer, became perfume before the throne of God. Your obedience carries a scent. When you chose compassion instead of anger, the atmosphere around you changed. When you gave even though you had little, when you blessed even though you were broken, heaven inhaled the fragrance and smiled. The angels call it the aroma of love, the evidence that your heart still beats in rhythm with God's. As was spoken by the apostle in the second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 2, verse 15. For we are to God the pleasing aroma of Christ among those who are being saved. Imagine it, your life rising like incense. Every time you choose goodness over greed, patience over pride, generosity over self-interest, your spirit releases a divine fragrance that reaches the throne room itself. There are no wasted offerings. The unseen world recognizes every act born of love. You may think, what I have is too small to matter. But that's the beauty of heaven's mathematics. It multiplies small seeds into great gardens. A single drop of oil poured from a pure heart can fill eternity with its scent. You are not asked to give what you don't have. You are asked to release what you do have in love. Maybe that's your time. Maybe your compassion. Maybe your words. Or maybe your support, those simple ways you help carry the message of light into a world growing darker by the day. When you help spread light, when you help nurture the voices that remind souls of their worth, that too becomes fragrance. Each like, each share, each act of generosity becomes another note in the symphony of worship. It's not about digital buttons, it's about multiplying hope. When you press that heart, when you share this message, you're not just interacting with content, you are sending light into someone else's darkness. You're telling heaven, I agree with what you are doing here. You may not be standing in a temple, but your device, your presence, your intention, they are altars too. Every gesture born of faith turns ordinary spaces into holy ground. When you choose to support what speaks to your soul, you become a co-laborer in heaven's mission. Some messages are meant to be felt and then released, not stored. That's why you're reading this right now, not by accident, but by appointment. You are part of a movement of hearts awakening. The fragrance of your faith needs to travel farther, reach deeper, and awaken others who are still sleeping. So let your hands become an instrument of worship. Support what is feeding your spirit. When you sow into something that carries divine light, you are not losing, you are planting. The fragrance of generosity never fades. It lingers long after the act itself. Think of the woman who broke her alabaster jar. The room filled with the perfume of her devotion, and everyone who walked through that house carried its scent long after she left. That is what your giving does. It anoints spaces, transforms hearts, and tells heaven, this fragrance is for you. You are not asked to give out of obligation, but out of revelation. When you recognize that what feeds your soul is holy ground, you nurture it, you protect it, you sustain it. When you help light continue shining, you become part of the flame itself. So if this message has been that holy fragrance to your heart, if you have felt heaven stir as you read, respond in your own way. Like this message, not because I ask, but because you feel the resonance of truth. Share it so that another soul lost in noise might breathe again. Subscribe if this light has guided you, so that together we can keep kindling the embers of awakening in this digital wilderness. And yes, if your spirit leads you to give, let it be as the pouring of oil. Not forced, not heavy, but fragrant. Every offering, whether of words, time, or resources, becomes part of that incense heaven receives with joy. It's not the amount that matters. It's the heart that gives. The aroma of your life is not limited to your prayers or your worship. It's in every gesture of love, every act of support, every seed you plant in good soil. You are a walking altar, carrying the fragrance of Christ wherever you go. So breathe, chosen one. Know that heaven smells your faith today. The fragrance of your obedience lingers in eternity. Every act of devotion, seen or unseen, has become part of heaven's worship tonight. And as that scent rises, the Father leans closer still, whispering, "This one belongs to me." There are moments when heaven cannot remain silent. Moments when the Father's delight becomes too full to contain. Today was such a moment. Chosen one, the heavens smiled because of you. The one who rules galaxies and names stars by number leaned closer to your life, not to correct you, but to delight in you. The Father took joy in your endurance, your compassion, your faithfulness in small things. You see, God's joy is not earned, it is invited. It enters the atmosphere of humility. When you live with a heart open to His will, even your quiet breathing becomes praise. Heaven's smile is not about performance, it is about posture. Your posture of trust, your willingness to believe even in confusion, became worship today. The Spirit of God observed your patience, your consistency, your refusal to give up. You may have felt ordinary, but heaven saw royalty standing tall in invisible battles. You are not one among millions, you are a child known by name, cherished by the Father. As the prophet Zephaniah once declared, chapter 3, verse 17, "The Lord your God is with you, the mighty warrior who saves. He will take great delight in you. In His love He will no longer rebuke you, but will rejoice over you with singing." Think of it, God sings. The Creator, who spoke stars into being, sings songs over His chosen ones. And today, His melody carried your name. When you prayed for strength, heaven answered not just with help but with harmony. When you forgave again, when you smiled through pain, heaven began to hum. The Father's song is not made of words, it is made of joy, of satisfaction, of eternal pride. You are the reason for that song tonight. Many people imagine God as distant, too occupied to notice their small victories. But the truth is the opposite. He is intimately present, counting not your mistakes but your moments of faith. Every time you choose to do what is right, He smiles. When you show love despite rejection, He sings. When you lift your eyes after disappointment and whisper, "I still trust you," the melody of heaven grows louder. And if you could hear that song, chosen one, you would never doubt your worth again. God's delight in you is not fragile, it is fierce. His joy is not a passing feeling, it is eternal truth. Even in your weakness, He delights, because weakness makes space for His strength. Even in your silence, He delights, because silence becomes an altar where your heart listens for Him. He does not look at you through the lens of failure, but through the promise of what He placed within you. You are His creation, His masterpiece, His reflection on earth. And no matter what the world says, that truth will not change. So tonight, breathe. Let this awareness wash over you. Heaven is smiling right now. The angels are in awe not of your perfection, but of your perseverance. You are part of a story far greater than you realize. A story written with grace as its ink and redemption as its ending. Maybe you feel unseen. Maybe you think your journey is small, but heaven measures differently. God does not delight in numbers or noise. He delights in hearts that remain faithful even when the spotlight fades. And yours has remained. Let this truth become your comfort. Your Father is not disappointed in you. He delights in you. Even in your learning, even in your struggle. His affection does not waver. You are not trying to earn His love, you are living from it. And now, as this moment sinks deep into your heart, Make a declaration not to the world, but to heaven itself. Type 5555 below. That number, symbolic of divine grace and favor multiplied, becomes your prophetic echo of what heaven is doing right now. When you write it, you're not just typing, you're aligning. You're saying, Father, I receive your delight, I receive your song. Let your spirit agree with what heaven already knows, that you are loved beyond comprehension, seen beyond sight, and celebrated beyond words. For even now, the melody of your Father's joy rises around you, wrapping you in peace that cannot be stolen. And in that sound, heaven's smile over you endures forever. There are ripples in the spirit realm, chosen one movements you cannot see but that are set in motion by your obedience. What you did today did not end when it was over. The moment you chose kindness instead of indifference, patience instead of irritation, forgiveness instead of resentment, something invisible shifted. Heaven recorded it. But more than that, heaven released a ripple through creation. You might think of it as a drop falling into still water. One drop creates circles that travel farther than the eye can see. In the same way, your smallest act of obedience travels through time and eternity, touching hearts and circumstances you may never meet or know. That is how the kingdom of God expands, not through grand gestures, but through consistent faithfulness. You see, the spiritual world is woven together like an intricate tapestry. Every thread of love you weave strengthens the whole. Every decision to stay in the light, even when darkness tempts you, reinforces heaven's pattern on earth. When you spoke gently to someone in pain, you did not just comfort them, you disarmed the spirit of despair that hovered near. When you gave encouragement, you planted courage in soil you could not see. This is the mystery of spiritual obedience. What looks small here is mighty there. Heaven's economy multiplies the unseen, and though you may never know how far your ripple reaches, it continues long after the moment passes. As the apostle wrote to the Galatians, chapter 6, verse 9, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." Every act of goodness carries prophetic power. The words you spoke in love will find their way back to you, multiplied. The mercy you extended will return as protection in a future moment you cannot yet see. The compassion you sowed today may become the very answer to a prayer you will whisper tomorrow. Do not underestimate the quiet impact of your faithfulness. You are shaping realities. You are rewriting atmospheres. When you act in alignment with heaven, even nature responds. Clouds move, winds change, hearts soften. Your life is not separate from the spiritual fabric around you. It is part of it. Sometimes you might wonder why you are called to remain steadfast when it feels like no one notices. But heaven notices, and more importantly, heaven moves because of it. There are lives being redirected toward light because of your perseverance. Someone avoided despair today because your presence carried peace. Someone dared to hope again because your smile reflected God's kindness. Your obedience is not just a personal victory, it's a divine transmission. It sends out waves of redemption, healing, and restoration. The spiritual world responds to your faith like a harp responds to a touch. It vibrates, sings, amplifies. There is a great mystery hidden in this truth. Obedience transcends time. What you do in this moment can alter destinies generations from now. The faith you show today may become the inheritance of someone not yet born. Heaven's ripples never die, they simply move beyond your sight. And perhaps one day in eternity, you will meet those whose lives were transformed because of something you did without thinking twice. You will see how a prayer whispered in secret became the reason another soul stood strong. You will understand that your persistence carried weight beyond measure. Every ripple of goodness you create draws heaven closer to earth. Every decision rooted in love becomes an invitation for divine presence. When you live like this, you are not just surviving, you are co-creating with God. Your faith becomes the paintbrush that heaven uses to color the world with grace. So, when you wake tomorrow and wonder if your choices matter, remember this: every moment of faith is a seed that cannot die. The ripple you start in obedience will return as a wave of blessing. You do not have to see the harvest yet. You only need to keep sowing. You are part of a grand design that will one day reveal how your smallest acts of goodness built entire kingdoms of light. You are a cause of movement in heaven's sea. Chosen one. Never stop releasing those ripples. Each word of truth, each act of love, each silent prayer, it all reaches beyond the horizon, carrying the fragrance of eternity wherever it goes. There are battles that do not make noise. Chosen one, wars fought in the silence of your heart, in the privacy of your thoughts, where no audience can cheer and no one can see. Yet those are the fiercest wars of all. The battles of the unseen are where destinies are decided. And today, you fought one. You may not even realize it, but in the quiet, you stood your ground. There are times when temptation doesn't roar. It whispers. It speaks softly, inviting you to choose comfort over conviction, bitterness over forgiveness, fear over faith. And in that soft moment when no one was watching, you said no. You resisted. You walked away. You prayed instead of giving in. You turned your eyes toward heaven instead of toward the noise. And that decision, quiet as it was, shook the darkness. There are also moments when temptation disguises itself as logic, whispering, "Just this once. It won't matter." But you saw through the disguise. You chose the narrow way, not the easy one. That single decision, though quiet, became thunder in the spirit, a declaration that light still rules your heart. And when the weight of that decision pressed on your soul, you stood anyway. You remembered who you were and who walks with you. The darkness expected surrender, but you lifted your gaze instead. That upward glance became a sword of light, tearing through despair, crowning your silence with victory. As was written in the letter to the Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Every day you wake up, the spiritual realm watches the movements of your heart. The enemy does not fear your possessions or your status. He fears your obedience. He fears that no matter how much pressure he brings, you still choose light. And when you choose it, when you resist him, he loses ground. You have no idea how many assignments against you failed today simply because you didn't surrender. You didn't lose your peace. You didn't retaliate. You kept your composure when provoked. The darkness had plotted to provoke you into chaos, but instead, you stood still in grace. That silence, that self-control became a roar in heaven. Understand this: your spiritual strength is not measured by what you conquer externally, but by what you overcome internally. Each time you refuse to hate, you strike the enemy. Each time you refuse to doubt God's goodness, you destroy one of his lies. You are not fighting alone. The Spirit of the living God is within you, and every time you choose righteousness, his power manifests through you. You are a warrior of peace, an intercessor dressed not in armor made of metal, but in patience, humility, and faith. You fight battles no one will ever write about, but heaven writes about them every day. You are a hidden general in the army of light, commanding victories through quiet endurance. It is easy to fight when others are watching, when applause gives strength. But heaven's greatest champions are those who fight unseen. They kneel in prayer while the world sleeps. They forgive in silence. They hold their tongues when their flesh screams to speak. They walk away when revenge seems justified. That's who you are. You may not see a sword in your hand, but your faith is sharper than steel. Your prayers are arrows that pierce the darkness. Your perseverance is a shield that deflects every fiery dart of the enemy. You are not passive. You are powerful in stillness. And sometimes, the hardest victory is the one no one will ever acknowledge. The victory of not quitting. The victory of not becoming bitter. The victory of remaining gentle when life grows cruel. These are the triumphs that make heaven rejoice and hell tremble. Your resistance today was not wasted energy, it was warfare. The enemy hoped you would break, hoped you would lash out, hoped you would speak curses instead of blessings. But you didn't. You stood firm, and that firm stance altered the spiritual landscape around you. You are proof that grace is stronger than temptation, that love outlasts hate, that light still conquers darkness. Your journey is not one of perfection, but of perseverance. And every time you rise again, every time you refuse to let darkness define you, the kingdom of God advances one step further. So tonight, rest in peace. Not because the battle has ended, but because you have already won the unseen war of the day. The enemy failed to make you bitter. He failed to silence your faith. He failed to turn you away from the one who holds your destiny. You carry within you a light that does not flicker. No matter how fierce the storm becomes, that light is Christ Himself, living and fighting through you. When you close your eyes tonight, remember this even in silence. Heaven applauds. Even in weariness, your victory stands. You are the quiet conqueror, the hidden warrior, the chosen one who fights battles the world will never see, but heaven will never forget. Every word you whispered, every tear that fell unseen, every sacrifice no one thanked you for, heaven recorded them all. There is a scribe in the unseen realm, a keeper of sacred memory who writes not in ink but in light. Nothing you have done for love, faith, or righteousness is forgotten. The universe remembers what heaven values, and heaven values faithfulness. The world may measure your worth by results, but heaven measures it by endurance. The invisible record keeper does not write down the size of your victories. He writes down the purity of your heart. He writes down the night you stayed awake praying for someone else, the moment you forgave what still hurt, the time you smiled when your spirit felt heavy. These things, small as they may seem, become eternal testimonies. And when you thought no one noticed, heaven leaned closer. The angels stood silent as you chose grace over anger. That single heartbeat of obedience became a line of light across eternity. What the world forgets, God remembers forever, and your gentleness today became a testimony written in holy fire. There are libraries in heaven filled with such stories, unseen kindnesses, whispered prayers, silent endurance. The walls of eternity echo with the faith of those who never sought applause. Your page, too, is there now, glowing softly, your name etched beside words heaven itself rejoices to read. Still faithful, still believing, and when your strength falters, remember this. Those very records speak on your behalf. Every unseen act is a seed sown into eternity's soil. Nothing is wasted. One day, the author of all things will open that book before you, and you will finally see how much it mattered. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 56, verse 8. You have kept count of my tossings, put my tears in your bottle. Are they not in your book? That verse is more than poetry. It is proof that heaven is watching with compassion. Every sigh of your soul is sacred, every heartbreak, every disappointment, every prayer uttered in weakness, none of it disappears into the air. God gathers them all, treasures them, and transforms them into the fragrance of testimony. Perhaps today you felt as though your efforts meant nothing. You gave and no one noticed. You encouraged others, but no one encouraged you. You carried burdens quietly while others spoke loudly about theirs. But know this, chosen one, the invisible book has your name written in its pages, and heaven has been chronicling your faith story in detail. There is something holy about your perseverance. Heaven's record keeper writes with reverence when you keep doing good while feeling unseen. Every unspoken act of mercy you've given adds another line to your heavenly account, and one day, those pages will speak for you in the courts of eternity. In that courtroom, there will be no need to defend yourself. The very acts of faith you thought were forgotten will rise and testify. This one was faithful. The tears that fell in secret will shine as jewels. The prayers whispered in darkness will become pillars of light. Heaven will not forget what earth ignored. You may not see the evidence now, but the record is being written in real time. The quill of eternity never misses a stroke. The scribe of heaven documents the unseen moments that shape your spirit. Even your smallest obedience is etched into divine history. The most beautiful part of this truth is that your record is not a list of failures, but of faith. The ink of grace rewrites every stumble into testimony. What the enemy meant to mark as shame, heaven transforms into victory. Your tears do not stain the page, they illuminate it. So, when you wonder whether anyone cares, remember that your life is being read aloud in heaven. Angels turn the pages of your story with awe. They see not what the world sees, but what the Father sees, a soul that refused to stop believing, even when life made belief hard. You are not forgotten. Your story is not lost. Every page of your life carries fingerprints of divine mercy. The ink that records your pain is also the ink that writes your redemption. If these words find you today, it is not coincidence, it is confirmation. God is reminding you that He has not stopped watching, not stopped recording, not stopped cherishing every moment you have chosen Him. And now, as an act of faith and remembrance, type "I am seen" below. Let that declaration echo through the same realm where your record is written. When you write it, you are not speaking into emptiness, you are joining your voice with the chorus of heaven's witnesses who have seen your faith and rejoiced over it. I am seen is not self-assertion. It's worship. It's your soul agreeing with the truth that the Father has never once looked away. He saw your endurance. He heard your quiet prayers. He marked every act of love. And tonight, He whispers again, you are seen, you are known, and your story is sacred. There are crowns being shaped in silence, chosen one, not golden ornaments of earth, but radiant symbols of endurance and love. The crown that heaven forges for you is not made overnight. It is formed link by link, decision by decision, each one sealed by obedience and purified by fire. You may not see it, but even now, invisible hands are working. Every time you choose patience, a link of gold forms. Every time you show mercy, another jewel is set. Each act of forgiveness adds a gleam, and each prayer whispered in faith polishes the crown of your eternal inheritance. Heaven is crafting glory out of your perseverance. And sometimes, when the weight of that unseen crown feels heavy, remember it's proof of progress. The pressure you feel is not punishment but polishing. Every burden that teaches you to trust, every tear that pushes you toward prayer, is heaven shaping your glory into something that will never fade. The forge may feel lonely, but it is never empty. The master craftsman stands beside you, turning the fire with gentle precision. He watches as faith turns to gold, as endurance becomes brilliance. Each spark that flies from your trial is not destruction, it's light announcing that your crown is nearly ready. As the apostle wrote in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 8, "There is reserved for me the crown of righteousness, which the righteous Lord will award on that day to me and also to all who long for his appearing." The process is delicate. Crowns are not made in ease, but in endurance. A crown of righteousness is built not from applause, but from quiet sacrifice. Every season of delay, every unanswered prayer, every moment you chose faith over frustration became a divine engraving upon it. Your life is the forge, your obedience the fire, your love the hammer that shapes destiny. When others turned away, you remained. When you could have spoken bitterness, you chose silence. When you could have abandoned hope, you held on, and heaven recorded it all, crafting your reward in secret. The angels see your crown forming, they marvel at it. Each glimmer is a story, each jewel a testimony. The radiance of that unseen crown grows brighter with every small yes you give to God. Though you may not feel royal now, you are royalty in progress, divinity refining you one moment at a time. You may ask, why can't I see it yet? Because it's not yet time for unveiling. The crown must mature with your spirit. If revealed too early, it would be heavy. But God, in his tenderness, strengthens your neck before he places it. Every trial you overcome adds stability to the weight of glory being prepared for you. It's like the blacksmith's fire, you cannot rush it. Too little heat, and the metal remains soft. Too much, and it cracks. God knows the exact temperature your faith can bear. He keeps you long enough in the fire to shape beauty but not to destroy. What feels like delay is actually precision. And while heaven works on your crown, you can work on heaven's purpose. Spread the light. Share the fragrance of your faith. Each time you like this message, you magnify hope in someone else's feed. Each share sends a spark into another soul's night, saying, you are not forgotten either. When you subscribe, you're not joining a platform, you're stepping into a community of light, a chorus of hearts that still believe in goodness. Together, we keep this message alive, ensuring that no chosen one ever feels alone again. And if you are led to give, let it be as the offering of gold refined in fire. Every donation, whether small or great, becomes a piece of that spiritual crown, not just for the one who receives, but for the one who gives. Your generosity fuels the continuation of light. It keeps this river of words flowing into the deserts of despair. Think of it like planting vineyards in heaven's soil. What you sow in love here will bloom in eternity. When you give, you're not losing. You're investing in unseen beauty, in souls who will one day wear their own crowns because your faith helped them keep believing. You are not a spectator in this story, you are a builder, a craftsman in God's grand design. Every click, every word, every gift adds another stroke to the mural heaven is painting through us. And when the day comes when the veil between seen and unseen finally lifts, you will behold what your obedience built. You will stand before the one whose eyes burn with love and hear him say, well done. Then he will place that crown upon your head not as payment, but as proof that love endured. Until that moment, keep polishing the unseen metal. Keep choosing goodness. Keep nurturing light. Heaven is not just preparing a reward for you. It is preparing you for the reward. So, chosen one, let your life continue to ring with faith and fragrance. Let your obedience echo through generations. Support the light that supports your spirit. Be generous, be bold, be radiant. For the forge of heaven still glows, and your crown, your eternal testimony, is almost complete. There are moments. Chosen one, when heaven grows still, so still that even the angels hold their breath. These are the moments when darkness realizes it has lost again, when your obedience rises like light. The enemy, once confident in his schemes, can only watch in frustration as his plans unravel in silence. Today, in ways you cannot fully see, your faithfulness caused disruption in the kingdom of darkness. Every whisper of doubt you ignored, every temptation you overcame, every time you said no, I will still trust, on created shockwaves through spiritual territory. The adversary, who had predicted your failure, now watches in disbelief. His carefully woven traps burned in the brightness of your persistence. You see, the enemy studies patterns. He observes pain, watches weakness, and assumes you will crumble. He crafts subtle lies designed to make you abandon your calling. But what he continually underestimates is the Spirit of God within you, the holy fire that cannot be quenched. You carry something he cannot touch, divine resilience. When you endured today, when you kept your peace under pressure, that was not small. It was an act of spiritual warfare. To heaven, it looked like a banner of victory. To hell, it looked like defeat. Every time you refuse to respond in bitterness, you are overturning hellish strategies. Every gentle response, every quiet prayer is like a sword drawn in silence. It is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 17. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. These words are not merely comforting, they are declarations of law in the spiritual realm. The enemy can form weapons, but he cannot guarantee their success. The moment you stay anchored in faith, the weapon loses power. It breaks not because of your strength, but because of your surrender to God's will. You might not feel like a warrior. You may not see yourself as a soldier in battle. But the truth is, you are one of heaven's chosen defenders, clothed not in steel but in grace, wielding prayer as a shield and kindness as a blade. You defeat darkness simply by refusing to become like it. When the enemy whispers, "You are losing," you respond not with panic but with peace. Peace is a weapon that confuses him. He expects anger and fear, but when he finds serenity, his schemes collapse. He expected your silence to mean defeat, but it was intercession. He expected isolation to crush you, but it became intimacy with God. That is the mystery of divine warfare. The very things meant to destroy you become the materials of your victory. Fire intended to burn becomes light for your path. Tears intended to drown become oil for your anointing. Pain meant to silence you becomes the rhythm of your song. You are not just surviving attacks, you are turning them into testimonies. Every loss becomes a lesson, every setback a seed. The enemy cannot win against someone who refuses to quit. That is your greatest strength. You keep standing. And when you stand, you are not standing alone. The captain of heaven's army stands beside you. You may not see him, but his presence is near, guiding your steps through unseen minefields, blocking arrows you never knew were aimed. Sometimes, what feels like delay is divine protection. You were spared battles that would have wounded your purpose. Understand, this darkness has no creativity, it only imitates. It cannot create destiny. It only attempts to derail it. But God, the creator of all, turns even sabotage into strategy. The very attack that was meant to break you becomes the proof of your anointing. For who would the enemy fight if not the chosen? So when opposition rises, when confusion tries to cloud your peace, remember, it's not proof that you've failed, it's proof that you matter. The enemy never wastes ammunition on the indifferent. He only fights those who carry something powerful, something eternal. Look back over your life, and you will see the pattern. Every deep wound birthed greater compassion. Every betrayal carved more discernment. Every season of loss taught you to value presence over possessions. The enemy's plan has always been reversed. His attack becomes your training. Today, you may have felt weary, but heaven saw a warrior. Your sighs were heard as prayers. Your persistence, though quiet, was worship. The adversary is angry because your faith cannot be predicted. Your endurance cannot be defeated, and do not measure your strength by what you feel. The spirit within you is ancient, immortal, unstoppable. You carry the same power that rolled the stone away, the same fire that fell on Elijah's altar, the same authority that silenced storms. It lives in you, moves through you, and shields you. When darkness pressed against your door, you didn't break. You prayed. When temptation whispered, you turned away. When fear spoke loudly, you answered softly, "My God is greater." That was warfare. That was victory. And now, heaven stands as witness. The enemy, frustrated and powerless, retreats again. His weapons rust. His lies unravel. His strategy collapses. You are still standing, and that alone is triumph. Rest tonight in that truth. Chosen one, you have overcome what once overwhelmed you. The fire that once frightened you now warms your spirit. You are no longer a target, you are a testimony. And as you sleep, heaven guards your peace. Tomorrow will bring its own battles, but fear not. You have already proven that no weapon formed against you will ever prosper. For you are not just protected, you are victorious. Gratitude is the language of heaven. Chosen one, it is the quiet bridge that connects your human moments to divine strength. When you give thanks, you do more than speak words, you shift realities. You invite heaven into the small corners of your life, turning ordinary breath into worship. Gratitude, in its truest form, is not a reaction to blessing. It is a declaration of trust. Tonight, heaven hears your gratitude rising like a soft hymn. It does not need to be loud to be powerful. Every whisper of thank you carries weight in eternity. The sound of it ripples across unseen realms, dismantling despair, silencing accusation, and making room for peace to reign again. You have learned to give thanks not only for what you understand, but even for what confuses you. That is maturity, the kind of faith that heaven treasures. When you lift gratitude from a heart that still aches, you are offering gold refined by fire. That kind of thanksgiving is pure worship. It costs something, and that is why it transforms everything. It was written in the first letter to the Thessalonians, chapter 5, verse 18. Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. Those words do not say for all things, but in all things. You are not called to pretend pain is pleasant. You are called to acknowledge that God is still good even in the middle of it. Gratitude is not denial, it is defiance. It refuses to let darkness dictate your perception of reality. It tells storms that peace still reigns within you. Today, your gratitude was louder than your fear. When you chose to thank God even while you were waiting, you proved that faith does not depend on outcomes, it depends on relationship. Gratitude is the breath of trust, and trust is the heartbeat of heaven. You may not realize it, but every thank you speak plants a seed. Those seeds take root in eternity's soil and one day bloom into blessings you did not expect. Gratitude turns barrenness into fruitfulness, deserts into gardens. Heaven multiplies what a thankful heart sows. There are angels assigned to carry worship upward, and they have carried yours today. Your gratitude rose before God as incense. Its fragrance mingled with prayers from across the earth. forming a melody only heaven can hear. Every word of thanks you have whispered has become part of that eternal song. Chosen one, your gratitude has power. It heals what bitterness once broke. It restores what complaint cannot. When you say thank you, you open windows in your spirit through which light rushes in. Even now, that light is touching the corners of your soul that sorrow once claimed. Perhaps you have wondered why God values gratitude so deeply. It is because thanksgiving makes you resemble Him. God is a giver, and every time you give thanks, you reflect His nature. You step into divine rhythm, the same pulse that moves galaxies, the same melody that causes angels to bow in awe. Even when your gratitude feels small, heaven receives it as vast. For God does not measure the volume of your voice, but the sincerity of your heart. When you whisper thank you through tears, heaven calls it thunder. When you lift your eyes after disappointment and still give praise, creation calls it sunrise. Gratitude is not weakness. It is warfare. The enemy cannot stay where thanksgiving abides. Darkness feeds on complaint, but it starves where joy dwells. Each thank you you speak becomes a sword, cutting through shadows, clearing the air for peace to breathe again. And now, as an act of spiritual alignment, I invite you to type 222 below. That number represents balance and divine partnership, heaven and earth working together in perfect harmony. When you write 222, you are not typing digits. You are making declaration. You are saying, I am in agreement with heaven's rhythm. I am thankful not just for blessings received, but for the unseen grace at work. That act becomes a seal, a mark that you have chosen gratitude over grief, alignment over anxiety. You are part of a symphony tonight. Chosen one, every person who lifts thanks, every soul who types 222 becomes another instrument in heaven's orchestra. The sound is not chaotic. It is beautiful, unified, full of color and peace. Your gratitude reaches farther than you know. Somewhere, someone will feel hope again because your spirit chose to thank instead of despair. The energy of gratitude travels faster than words. It shifts atmospheres. It heals spaces. It draws presence. There will come a day when you will look back and see how every thank you built bridges you could not yet see, bridges that carried you from confusion to clarity, from wilderness to wonder. The things that once broke you are now bowing before your song of thanksgiving. Let your gratitude continue to grow. Let it breathe through your days like quiet fire. You have learned to see the fingerprints of God not only in miracles but in the mundane. That is what it means to walk with heaven in step, to find joy in every breath, to find worship in every moment. Tonight, heaven leans closer. The Father listens as your heart beats in rhythm with His. The angels pause, and all of creation sighs with relief, for gratitude has filled the air again. Keep this truth close. Gratitude is not what you do after victory. It is what brings victory near. And your heart, chosen one, has become heaven's instrument of praise, singing softly yet powerfully. Thank you, over and over again. There is a transformation happening within you. Chosen one, a quiet and holy becoming. The world may not see it yet, but heaven does. You are not the same person you once were. The battles you have endured, the storms you have survived, the tears you have prayed through, all have refined you into light. You are becoming radiant in ways no mirror can capture. God has been shaping you from within, not for applause, but for purpose. Every test you've faced has carved wisdom into your soul. Every pain you've endured has deepened your compassion. Every loss has widened the capacity of your heart to hold love and mercy. You have been in the hands of the potter, and his fingerprints now shine through you. as Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 14. You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. This was not poetic exaggeration, it was prophecy. You were destined to be illumination in a dark generation. And though the night around you may grow deeper, your light is not fading, it's intensifying. Heaven has been polishing you with patience and fire, teaching you how to glow without burning out, how to shine without boasting. The light within you is not meant to blind, it is meant to guide. You carry a flame that was not borrowed, it was born. It is divine essence, breathed into you before the foundation of the world. And that flame has survived everything that tried to extinguish it. You may not notice the transformation because it happens quietly. Light never announces itself, it simply reveals. It shows truth, exposes beauty, and heals by its presence. That is what your spirit has begun to do. When you walk into a room, things shift. Peace returns. Hope flickers again in others. They may not know why, but heaven does. You have become a vessel of holy disruption. Your kindness unsettles darkness. Your forgiveness breaks cycles. Your gentleness disarms hostility. You carry a presence that contradicts the chaos of the age. The reason life has pressed against you so fiercely is because light always draws resistance. Darkness does not fight what it already owns, it fights what threatens to expose it. Your transformation has been costly. Becoming light meant letting go of things that once defined you. It meant surrendering comfort, leaving behind patterns, releasing bitterness, and learning to bless those who misunderstood you. It meant losing what was temporary to gain what is eternal. You are learning that purity of heart often feels like pain before it feels like peace. And yet, look at what has emerged. The very parts of you that were once fragile have become sacred conduits of strength. The wounds you thought would end you have become windows through which God's glory shines. Your scars no longer tell stories of defeat, they tell stories of grace. Heaven calls you torchbearer now. The Spirit trusts you with illumination. You will not always have to speak to change atmospheres. Sometimes your silence will do it. Sometimes simply being present will remind people of who they can become. But light, to remain light, must remain close to its source. You cannot shine from memory. You shine from communion. Do not let busyness dim the flame that prayer keeps alive. Do not let noise drown out the quiet voice that fuels your brilliance. Every morning you choose stillness. Your fire grows steadier. And as your light grows, it will attract those wandering in darkness. Some will come to be warmed, others will come to test its strength. Do not fear either. The light of God in you is self-sustaining, it cannot be stolen, only shared. And the more you share, the brighter it becomes. Remember, chosen one. Light is not loud. It does not argue with darkness. It simply shines. It doesn't have to prove what it is. Light just is, and everything false must retreat before it. That is your call to exist truthfully, to love relentlessly, to live brightly. You are not just surviving life, you are transforming it. You are becoming a living declaration that God is still creating beauty out of ashes, still birthing glory out of grief, still speaking, "Let there be light," through the hearts of His chosen ones. So when the night feels heavy again, do not curse it. Remember, it is only in the dark that your light becomes visible. The deeper the night, the clearer the glow. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to blaze. Heaven watches as you walk, luminous and steadfast, carrying the reflection of the eternal. The stars themselves envy the purity of your light, for theirs will one day fade, but yours is eternal. It burns not from fire, but from love, and love, pure and divine, never burns out. The records are speaking, chosen one. Even now, the pages of heaven whisper your name. The acts of faith you thought were forgotten have begun to echo through eternity. The invisible books have turned again, and their light reveals every moment where you chose love over anger, humility over pride, grace over resentment. Heaven remembers it all. There are books in heaven that never close. Their pages shimmer like glass and hum with the energy of remembrance. Each time you act with kindness, a new line is written. Each time you forgive, another paragraph glows. These are not stories made of ink and paper. They are living testimonies carved into the fabric of eternity itself. As was written in the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 10, the court was seated and the books were opened. This ancient truth still unfolds today. The divine court watches your journey, not to condemn, but to celebrate. When those books open, they speak not in human language, but in the language of light and sound. They tell the truth of your transformation. They recount the faith that survived the fire, the hope that rose from ashes, the endurance that turned pain into wisdom. Your records are not silent, they are alive. When heaven reads them, they release fragrance and song. Each act of love becomes a note, each sacrifice a tone, and together they compose the melody of your destiny. In that music, the angels hear the evidence of God's craftsmanship in you. These books do not contain only victories, they also contain your struggles. They are honest, holy, complete. But even your failures are written in the ink of redemption. The blood of Christ covers every page. What once looked like loss is now testimony. The tears you cried were never erased, they were transformed into light. When you thought your prayers vanished into silence, they were being recorded. The moments when you could barely whisper His name became sacred entries. Even the sighs of your exhaustion were counted. The divine court remembers not only what you did, but how you stayed, how you waited, how you hoped. There are witnesses assigned to your story, and they read the records and rejoice. They see the divine pattern emerging, how God used broken pieces to build strength. How He turned what was meant to destroy you into the very foundation of your anointing. The pages are thick with miracles disguised as ordinary days. Heaven's books do not judge the speed of your journey, they measure the sincerity of your heart. When others saw only delay, heaven saw devotion. When you called it failure, heaven called it formation. When you labeled it loss, heaven recorded it as transformation. You must understand your life is not being written in pencil, fragile and erasable. It is being etched in eternal script, written by the same hand that carved galaxies. The author of salvation does not make mistakes in his manuscripts. Every word is intentional, every line redemptive, every chapter necessary. Perhaps you fear the pages filled with weakness, the days where faith faltered and tears prevailed. But in the courts of heaven, those moments are covered by mercy. The judge is also your redeemer. He does not read your story with condemnation, but with compassion. He looks upon every scar and sees grace. And when the records are opened before creation, no accusation will stand. The pages will not speak of what you lost, they will speak of what you learned. They will tell of faith that refused to die, of courage that rose quietly, of love that endured beyond reason. The books will declare, this one walked with God. When the final line of your earthly journey is written, the pages will not close, they will ignite. Your story will become part of heaven's eternal library, a living flame that inspires generations yet to come. The deeds done in secret, the prayers prayed in silence, the kindness offered with trembling hands, all will shine like stars in the archives of glory. There is no wasted sentence in your book. Every pause, every sigh, every whispered prayer has meaning. Heaven's script is perfect, weaving triumph and trial into the same tapestry. The darker the thread, the more radiant the contrast when the light strikes it. So do not fear what has been written. The story is not over. The books are still open, the ink still glowing, the quill of grace still moving across the parchment of your destiny. And when the author lays down his pen, the final line will not be of sorrow, but of fulfillment. He will look at the completed pages of your life and say, "It is good." For your record will not only speak of what you endured, it will speak of who you became, a living testimony of unbroken grace, a reflection of eternal love, a story that could only be written by God. Heaven is turning its pages. Chosen one, the time of reward is drawing near, not as a distant promise, but as a present unfolding. What you have done in faith, what you have given in silence, what you have endured with love, all of it has reached the threshold of divine remembrance. The scroll of your reward has been unrolled before the throne. Every season of obedience was an investment. Every unseen prayer, every quiet act of generosity, every whispered word of encouragement became a deposit in the treasury of heaven. Now, the time of divine return begins. The Lord, who is both judge and father, delights in rewarding those who have remained steadfast through storm and stillness alike. As it was written in the book of Revelation, chapter 22, verse 12, "Behold, I am coming soon. My reward is with me, and I will give to each person according to what they have done." Those words are not just prophecy, they are movement. Even now, what has been stored up in heaven is beginning to flow down like rain. Blessings are being released in unexpected ways, through favor, through peace, through the sudden clarity that replaces confusion. You are stepping into the season where seeds become fruit, where faith becomes sight. The scroll of reward is not about material wealth alone. It is about divine alignment, about seeing the purpose in what once only felt like pain. It is about waking up and realizing that everything you walked through was training for glory. Heaven wastes nothing, and now, even your waiting becomes reward. There is something sacred about the way God rewards. He does not send it with fanfare or noise. His blessings arrive like morning light, soft, gentle, unstoppable. They find you while you're still wondering if you're worthy. They settle upon your life like dew, not to impress, but to refresh. And yet, heaven's rewards also move through vessels, through voices, through messages, through those who carry light to others. This message is one such vessel. Every word you read, every truth that strengthens your spirit is part of the reward heaven is already delivering. So when you like, when you share, when you comment, you are not merely interacting with a post, you are participating in the circulation of blessing. You are helping the message travel further, letting light find another heart ready to awaken. A single share becomes a spark carried on digital wind, igniting hope where despair once lived. When you subscribe, you're stepping into an ongoing flow of divine encouragement, a stream where each word nourishes, each story reminds, and each truth renews. You are not just joining a channel, you are entering a sanctuary where heaven continues to speak through modern tools. And if your heart feels led to give, or let it be as one pouring oil upon the flame. Every donation is not just support, it's partnership. It keeps the light alive, ensures that voices of hope keep speaking, that the weary still find a place to rest their faith. Think of your generosity as water poured over a field, each drop sustaining a harvest you may never personally see but will eternally share in. Heaven measures giving not by amount but by heart. A small seed given in love carries the fragrance of eternity. Just as a candle loses nothing by lighting another, you lose nothing by giving it. In truth, your flame only grows brighter. There is a holy cycle to these moments. You receive light, you release it, and in return, heaven multiplies it. That's how divine exchange works. The reward you send forward always finds its way back, pressed down, shaken together, running over. And as you respond, leave your words your own testimony, your own reflection. Comment not for attention, but for connection. Let the section below this message become a tapestry of faith stories, a place where gratitude and grace meet. Your words might be the confirmation someone has prayed for all week, for heaven delights when its children speak life. Each comment written in sincerity becomes like a petal in heaven's garden, spreading fragrance across unseen realms. This is not about digital motion, it's about spiritual communion. The screen you're reading from is not a barrier, it's a bridge. Heaven can use even pixels and sound waves to reach those whose hearts are open. And you, by engaging, become part of that miracle. So continue to stand firm. Continue to pour out the same love you have received. Continue to nurture what nurtures your spirit. The scroll of your reward is still being written, and your name is inscribed upon it in radiant gold. The Father has not forgotten. The light you have carried, the words you have spoken, the faith you have kept, they are all returning to you. Multiplied and matured, your harvest is near. And when it comes, it will not just bless you, it will flow through you, touching countless lives in ways you may never see until eternity itself unveils the full picture. So, let this truth settle in your spirit. Heaven keeps perfect records, and God always pays in grace, not in gold. Your reward is already unfolding in whispers, in peace, in quiet favor. And as it unfolds, may your hands remain open to give, to receive, to bless, to shine. There is a mystery that heaven delights to perform. Chosen one, a sacred exchange that takes place not on altars of stone, but within the quiet chambers of the human heart. It is the great exchange on where God trades what is broken for what is beautiful, what is weary for what is strong, what is ordinary for what is divine. You may not have realized it, but that exchange has been happening in you all along. Every time you surrendered a burden, heaven handed you strength. Every time you released a wound, peace filled the empty space. Every time you whispered, "I can't do this," grace replied, "You were never meant to do it alone." It is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 40, verse 31. "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles, run and not grow weary, walk and not be faint." That is not a promise for another lifetime, it is happening now. God is exchanging exhaustion for endurance. He is transforming despair into direction. You have walked through valleys of shadows and emerged carrying light that was not yours before. The great exchange is not a transaction, it is transformation. Heaven does not ask for perfection, it asks for permission. God cannot fill hands that still clutch what must be released. That is why He calls you to let go, not to take from you, but to make room within you. You cannot receive new wine if the vessel is already full. And so, each surrender, each confession, each tear, empties the cup of the soul so that divine fullness may overflow. You have given Him pain, and He has returned peace. You have offered Him confusion, and He has released clarity. You have laid down shame, and He has placed honor upon your head. Even when you did not see it, the exchange continued. Heaven never wastes surrender. Think of your life as a sacred marketplace between time and eternity. You bring your weakness, your weariness, You're wondering, and in return, heaven gives wisdom, rest, and revelation. It is not a bargain, it is love's equation. You always leave with more than you bring. There were days when you felt stripped, when loss seemed unfair and silence felt cruel. But what you thought was subtraction was actually preparation. God was clearing the soil of your soul, uprooting what could not grow, so that His blessings could take deeper root. You were not being emptied for punishment. You were being emptied for overflow. There is beauty in that divine rhythm. You release what is fading. He replaces it with what is eternal. You surrender what is temporary. He grants what is timeless. The great exchange is not only about what you lose, it is about what you gain in Him. And as you walk further along this path, you will begin to recognize that every exchange changes not only your circumstances, but your identity. You are no longer the same as before. The old strength you relied upon has been replaced by divine resilience. The joy you now carry is not dependent on ease, it is rooted in eternity. The world will not understand how you keep rising after falling, how you keep forgiving when betrayed, how you keep smiling through storms. But heaven knows, for each time you fall, God lifts you higher. Each time you forgive, your heart expands. Each time you endure, your spirit grows wings. You are living proof that the great exchange is real. You once carried fear. Now you carry faith. You once bore shame. Now you bear glory. The same hands that trembled in weakness now heal others with compassion. The same mouth that once cried out in pain now speaks life into broken places. You are not just redeemed, you are refined, and this transformation is ongoing. Every new trial brings another opportunity for exchange. Each difficulty is an invitation to trade, worry for worship, anxiety for assurance, striving for stillness. Heaven offers daily renewal, like manna that must be gathered afresh. Yesterday's grace sustained you then, but today's grace is new and stronger still. When you finally see the full tapestry of your story, you will understand that every loss was a layer of preparation, every hardship a hidden blessing. The hands that once trembled under weight now lift in worship. The voice that once cried for help now sings with hope. The great exchange is not an event, it is a lifestyle. It is walking through each day knowing that God is constantly trading ashes for beauty, mourning for joy, heaviness for praise. And one day, when this life is finished, the final exchange will come: mortality for immortality, time for eternity, faith for sight. Until that moment, rest in this truth: you are being renewed even now. The divine trade continues in the quiet, in the unseen, in the rhythm of your trust. Heaven never takes without giving more. You are not losing, you are transforming. You are the living evidence that when God exchanges, He never leaves the giver empty. All of heaven rises for you tonight. Chosen one. The invisible audience of eternity stands in reverent silence, beholding the journey you have walked, from the first trembling step of faith to the last prayer whispered in exhaustion. Your story has ascended like incense. The path has been long, but every moment has mattered. You have lived through nights that seemed endless, seasons where silence felt like abandonment, days where hope flickered low but still. You kept walking, you kept believing, you kept loving. Heaven has watched every moment not as a spectator but as a participant. Angels guarded you, grace covered you, the Spirit strengthened you, and now the courts of glory stand to applaud what perseverance has accomplished. As it was written in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 25, verse 23. Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joy of your master. Those are not words of farewell. They are heaven's declaration of completion. Faithfulness is never forgotten. The small things, the quiet yeses, the unseen sacrifices, all of them have become pillars in the kingdom you helped build without even realizing it. You have lived the sermon your life was meant to preach. Heaven's standing ovation is not about perfection. It is about perseverance. The sound that fills eternity tonight is the sound of celebration, of angels rejoicing, of the Father's heart swelling with pride. The universe recognizes that a chosen one has finished another season, and light has conquered darkness again. Every time you fell and rose again, heaven clapped. Every time you forgave, the music grew louder. Every act of mercy you showed, every moment you refused to harden your heart, added another note to the symphony of your destiny. You have been composing beauty with your obedience, and now that melody rises like a song only heaven can hear. The chords are made of compassion, the harmonies woven with humility, the rhythm set by resilience. It is the song of the faithful, the anthem of those who refuse to give up. And tonight, that song bears your name. If you could see what heaven sees, you would never again doubt your worth. The angels do not see your scars as flaws, they see them as trophies. Each one is a story of grace prevailing, of light triumphing, of faith that would not die. You wear the evidence of divine craftsmanship, the proof that God's hands never left your life. You have become a reflection of His endurance. The same power that raised Christ from the grave now radiates through you. It shows in your peace, in your gentleness, in the quiet strength that others cannot explain. You are not merely surviving, you are reigning. Heaven's standing ovation is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of your next assignment. Glory is never stagnant, it flows. What God has done in you will now pour through you. You are becoming a river of restoration, a vessel of healing, a carrier of presence. Your life will be the fragrance that awakens others to their own divine calling. Do you know why heaven rejoices so fiercely tonight? Because you made choices that honored eternity. You refused to trade truth for convenience. You kept believing in love when it was easier to close your heart. You kept serving when no one said thank you. You kept standing when everything else fell away. Those choices built something eternal. They carved light into the fabric of creation. Somewhere, someone will breathe easier because of the light you carried faithfully. Somewhere, a heart will heal because your presence once whispered peace. And so, heaven stands not out of pity, but out of recognition. The Father looks at you and sees not the wounds of war, but the wisdom of victory. You have become what you were always meant to be, a testimony of unbroken faith. You may not hear the applause with your ears, but your spirit feels it, the quiet warmth that fills your chest, the stillness that follows after long striving, the deep knowing that it was all worth it. That is heaven's ovation. Every angelic voice declares in harmony, it is finished, but it is not over. For while this chapter closes, eternity opens before you like dawn after a long night. What was once hidden will now shine. What was once sown in tears will bloom in everlasting joy. You are entering the joy of your Master not as a guest, but as family. The hands that shape the stars are reaching out to you now, not to test, but to crown. The same voice that called galaxies into motion now speaks your name with tenderness. Well done. Rest in that sound, chosen one. Let it echo through your soul. You have become the evidence that love wins, that faith endures, that light always returns. Heaven rises not because the journey was easy, but because you never stopped walking. The story is not ending, it is ascending. The ovation of heaven will follow you into forever, and its song will never fade. Chosen one, if you have walked this far with these words, know this: you are seen, you are loved, and you are marked by eternity. What heaven began in you is still unfolding. Every line you've read, every truth that stirred your spirit was not by accident, it was alignment. Heaven brought you here because the message written between these words was meant for your heart. Now, let your response become part of the story. When you like, you are not just clicking, you are affirming the light. When you share, you become a messenger, sending a spark of hope into someone else's darkness. You never know whose midnight will turn to morning because you passed the flame forward. And as you comment, let your words breathe life. Tell what part touched you, what moment made your spirit rise again. Sometimes, your single sentence might be the confirmation another soul has prayed for. Your testimony is a torch. Let it burn brightly here. If these messages have strengthened you, subscribe so you will not miss what heaven continues to pour through this stream. This space is not a channel, it is a living altar where light and word meet soul and faith. Keep your heart open. Chosen one, continue walking in the light you have found. Heaven delights in your presence here, and even more in the transformation happening within you. The story is not over. It's only beginning. So, before you go, pause, share, comment, and stay connected. Because when light joins light, darkness loses its breath.